Hello and welcome to another Teacher's Corner. I'm Teacher Kirby, and this time we're going to be delving into this is going to be an introduction to the reputation system. First of all, I want to thank Chappie, who was the inspiration for this video. Alright, put seatbelts on, this is going to be a long one. Anyway, okay, here we go. So, reputations. Reputations are something that unlocks at when you reach level 50. Okay? So, first of all, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different reputations. Alright, you can find them, open your status window, and the last tab on the top is the reputation tab, and you can find them all here. Alright, all the reputations, regardless of which one it is here, have something in common, have a few things in common. First of all of the reputations have 6 tiers or levels. You can see what tier you're at here on the right hand side where you see my mouse. So there we go, tier 1, tier 2, etc., 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 all the way up to tier 6. All reputations also have reputation traits. These traits help you to improve your performance, and in fact, if I click on traits here and scroll down, I have space reputation traits and I have ground reputation traits. These are all from reputations that I have leveled. Okay, these are from the reputations and they help to improve your performance, okay, DPS and whatnot. Alright, so all 13 reputations have traits that you can put on your character that apply. Alright, all reputations need marks. Okay, you can find how many marks you have for each reputation by clicking on assets, and they're listed here. Okay, you get marks for reputations by doing TFOs or Pve Queues, which I'll show you in a bit. Okay, you use the marks from reputations to complete the daily assignments, which, because I'm tier 6, you can't see, but to complete the daily assignments that level up your reputation. You find them by clicking the active projects. Alright, so these are the things that all reputations have in common. Now, how do you get reputation marks? You get reputation marks if you look at your mini-map. On the bottom row, there's a button that has 3 arrows pointing off to the left, kind of up and to the left. This is where you find, we call this the Pve Queue. This is where you find missions or TFOs, Task Force Operations. And these missions, when you complete them, give you marks. Some missions, like Arena of Sompek that I'm holding over here, have choice of marks. That means you can choose from any mark that is available. Any of the 13 different TFOs, you can choose from those marks. For the most part. There are some, like Atmosphere Assault, that has a choice between Romulan marks and Nukara marks. Okay, and that's it. But generally, if you see just fleet marks and choice of marks, you're probably going to get a choice of any marks. Okay. It's also worth noting, see up here above the list, it has join random. If you play random TFOs, you get not only the reward for the TFO itself that you end up in, but also you get a random reward box that gives you a choice of marks for all 13 reputations or fleet marks. So joining a random is a good way to get marks of your choice. Okay? Alright, so that's how you get marks. Now, as we said before, you use marks to level up the reputation. And you level up the reputations so you can get reputation gear. And number one, so you can unlock those traits we talked about earlier, but also so that you can get reputation gear. So for example, I'm looking at the Discovery Legends reputation. I can get different ground armor. I can get a device that I put on my, like a weapon. I can get a personal shield. I can get some kit modules. And then we get into space. I can get a deflector, an engine, a warp core, or a singularity core. There it is. And a shield. And then I can also get a console and a weapon for space, as well as a torpedo. Okay? So you get all of this gear available. Some of this gear, especially if you're doing DPS, is considered really good or must have. For example, the Lorca console here is really, really, really good. And a lot of players are doing what we're calling the Tilly 2-piece, meaning we get the shield and usually the warp or singularity core, because the 2-piece bonus on this is really really tasty. It's really worth having. Anyway, but moving on. So then the next question becomes, well, how many marks do I need to get from 0 to tier 6? Well, that can be a complicated question. So the reason it's a complicated question is because that depends. If you are a brand new player, have never done reputations before, which if you're watching this video you probably are, then you're going to need about 1,300 marks. Let's see, yeah. Okay, because you're going to need 1,225 to get from tier 0 to tier 5. At tier 5, you will get another 750 marks from the reputation as part of the reward. And then you will need another 905 marks total to get from tier 5 to tier 6. So if you assume that you're going to use the 750, that means you only need to have to get yourself another 155 marks to finish. So 1,225 plus 155 means 1,380 marks total that you need to get from tier 0 to tier 6. Okay? If you are already what we call sponsored, then you only need a total of 780 marks, because sponsorship, meaning that you're getting 5,000 per day on your reputation things, meaning that you've already taken one character through it, and all of your other characters now only have to do, are now receiving twice as much credit for every daily assignment, then you only need 780 marks total to get from tier 0 to tier 6. Alright. Now, the next question you may have, alright, so there's 13 reputations. Which one do I focus on first? So this is where it becomes buckle up. Alright, so we talked about, or I mentioned there were traits that you get. There it is. There are traits that you get for every tier. There are a couple traits that are default. You're going to use them on every character, on every build, no matter what. Those traits are, you notice I've clicked on New Romulus. Those traits are your Tier 2, New Romulus, Precision. Oh, excuse me, I had to sneeze. Precision. Precision is 4% crit chance. Straight up, just 4% critical hit chance. This is good. This is awesome. This is great. This is standard. You need this for DPS. So, top priority, get New Romulus to Tier 2. If you want to move on and do something else after that, that's fine, but get New Romulus to Tier 2 as a top priority. Second priority is Dyson. Why? Because Tier 2 Dyson has the other half of that, which is 16% critical severity. This is good, this is awesome, this is great. You want this. This is also standard on every single build. Okay? So those two, in the DPS world at least, and in my experience, non-negotiable, must-have top priorities. You only need to get to Tier 2. This only takes a couple days. Now, if you want to continue them after that, that's fine. But after these two, your priorities shift. Because then you have to start thinking about, okay, what other abilities do I need or want? And what gear do I want? So the next thing, as far as abilities, Gamma Task Force, Tier 4. Magnified Firepower. This is a really good trait. Most builds are going to use this trait. Okay? So that's your next priority. After that, you're starting to look at gear and final traits, because if you unlock the 5th trait, you still have 2 more traits to worry about. Okay? The next thing, Discovery. Discovery, Tier 4, has Tyler's Duality. This gives you critical chance based on hull capacity with a maximum of 6% at 200,000 hull. This is a pretty good trait. Okay? So this is one that you generally want. Alright? Now, also, from Discovery, this has a lot of gear that you're going to want to get. For example, right now, the meta for ground is Commander Burnham's armor or EV suit. Either one, depending if you need to go somewhere with an EV suit, you're going to want Commander Burnham's EV suit. Alright, so Commander Burnham's armor or EV suit, followed by, get to the space, followed by, generally, as I said before earlier in this video, the meta, or things that people are doing. Most effective tactic available is the Tilly Shield with either the Warp Core or the Singularity Core. This has a really good 2-piece set, or 2-piece bonus, that helps with survivability. So that's 4 pieces of gear so far, just from the Discovery rep. And you need to be Tier 5 to get Tilly's Shield. Alright? So, furthermore, you're most likely going to want the Lorca's Custom Fire Controls. That's now 5 pieces of gear. And possibly the wide-angle dual heavy beam bank. Okay? That's another 2-piece set thing. So, there you go. So that is up to 6 pieces of gear from this reputation. So this is going to be a really high priority. And then the other one is competitive war games. The competitive war games, you have the impulse engines. The impulse engines right now is standard meta or most effective tactic available is to get the prevailing innervated impulse engines and use those on your ship. So that is definitely something that you, that's deflector array, there's the engines. That is something definitely that you want to look at doing. So that's another piece of gear. So there you go, and that's just bare minimum for most builds. Okay, so again, Romulan and Dyson, high priority to get to tier 2. After that, you're looking at Gamma and Discovery to tier 4, and then your priority shifts towards getting gear, and that's mostly going to be Discovery and competitive to start with. So there you go. And then if you want another one, if you're not doing Aux to Bat, another good trait comes from Nukara tier 4, but I would say that would be a lower priority since auxiliary to bat battery builds or Aux to Bat tend to be the all the rage these days, so that makes this trait pretty much useless. But if you're not using an Aux to Bat build, this is still a good trait. Okay, so again, New Romulus and Dyson up to tier 2, Gamma to tier 4, Discovery to tier 4, and then you're looking at Discovery and competitive 4, and competitive you only need to get to tier 3 for the engines, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So there you go. So those are your biggest priorities. Eventually you're going to want to just level everything up so that if you want to do a focus build or a meme build, just something that's funny and fun to do, you can definitely do that. But eventually I do recommend leveling all of these up, but those are your priorities. Alright, so I know this was a long one, a lot of information to give, but I hope you learned something, and it's Teacher Kirby, and I'll see you next time.